So we played down in Little River. Got Eagle Nest, 8,100 yards. The third longest golf course in America.
The first of its name.
First of his name.
Of its kind.
South Carolina. South Carolina.
Got Game of Thrones over here. Robert Baratheon, first of his name. Welcome back to episode 66 of the Loggerhead Golf Podcast. Finally, a good weekend in golf, an interesting weekend in golf, but interesting start to the podcast, Mr. Roly-Poly over here.
Yeah, I was just hanging out, fed Hank, having a cup of coffee, and I'm like, there's something I should be doing right now. And it's 8 o'clock. And I'm like, we're supposed to be doing podcasts. Just hanging out with Hank, Wasn't driving me insane this morning, which was nice for a change. But yeah,
blame all your problems on the dog.
Hank's a good boy.
Now we're here.
Good boy.
Blaming all your problems on
And
the
then going
dog.
10 miles per hour on 74. That was fun, too.
Hank not did nothing to nobody.
I know.
All right, what are we talking about to start off with? We was talking about Matt Fitzpatrick, right? That's what we decided on.
Obviously BMW was this weekend.
The PGA Tour is getting destroyed for it.
Yeah, second to last playoff event. Obviously going into East Lake this week, but
Playoff.
yeah, quotations on playoff, especially with the jumps that were made. Justin Thomas, by the way, had the best post I've seen in golf in a long time. He put the scene since he got in his on his personal page. He put his scene from Dumb and Dumber where it's the FedEx Cup, and then it's him as whatever his name is, and he goes, "So you're telling me there's a chance?"
Yeah, because he's going in 30th.
And then the trophy goes, "There's literally no chance." So kudos to him for making a positive post. But yeah, getting into it with a hot topic is what's happened with Matt Fitzpatrick. He cracked his driver, and the reason that's
his driver cracked. He didn't crack it, right?
He hit a ball and then it cracked.
I mean, you look at his wear marks. He cracked that driver because that it doesn't look like a golf ball I ever saw away from the center
worded
of the
that
face.
way is because it's not like he got mad and slammed it. And
like Rory.
cracked.
Rory broke 2 clubs this week.
His driver cracked throughout the course of playing golf.
Yeah.
But
and there's a rule in the USGA rule book that allows him to replace that golf club.
Well, before we even worry about what the rule is, if the face of your driver cracks, is it going to perform at all like what it was intended to do?
No, you're going to notice an
Nowhere
immediate
close.
loss in ball speed, spin rate, control, because that metal is going to be bending in every
It doesn't
which way.
matter if it's even just a hairline fracture and like it's barely even noticeable from the surface. We don't know what has happened to the inside of that driver that has created that crack. So,
and the funny thing is they were also trying to bend the rules to try and say that they thought about the possibility of DQing him because they're like, well, your face probably was non-conforming for it to crack, so that means your face was probably too thin. We probably should have checked your driver.
Well,
I'm like,
they should have been checking it.
Oh man, the USGA, and I know this is the PGA Tour rules, but they run off the USGA rules. They just have so many.
I was say these are the PGA Tour rules officials. This is like the PGA Tour, basically tournament committee that we need to worry about because the rules written as it is. I mean, you can't.
Yeah, so he asked for a ruling. He told the rules official that, hey, I have 2 backups in my locker, and the rules official looks at him and goes, "It's not substantial enough."
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to hit it on the next.
He hit that to prove a point.
He hit that, and then Scotty
Scheffler
Scheffler looks and goes, he hasn't hit one like that at all.
And also went like 80 yards shorter than what he'd been.
Yeah, just snap hook.
And it looked like he flushed it.
And the rules official went and handed it to multiple people, and they both said, well, under the rules of golf, it has to be a substantial crack.
So 80 yards off a drive is not substantial enough?
Well, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, how is the word substantial measurable? You're using it in a measured statement right now, right? So you have to have a baseline to be able to say what is substantial and what isn't, because that was a full inch across the center of the face.
It should be if it affects
So
play.
I want to ask the PGA Tour rules officials, how do you measure substantial?
Yeah, how do you determine what is and what isn't substantial?
Well, my whole thing is it went from a solid face to a multiple piece face, regardless of how big the
What's the
crack
definition
was.
of a crack? Separation.
So you've altered the club through playing, not through anger. The rule states that you can now replace that club because that was revised, 4 years ago?
Yeah, that was in the 2019 rules.
Yeah,
So 5 years ago.
It was revised for these exact circumstances because as faces have gotten thinner and players practice with these, and they're hitting better range balls than what we have, faces are going to cave in and crack. It's just what it is.
It's going to happen, yeah. I mean, also, he was playing a TSI, which is a nearly 6-year-old driver now.
Yeah, but I will say this, which that driver resurrected his game.
I'm not saying it didn't. I mean, he was hitting it well, obviously. He likes
to play a bunch of old stuff.
I mean, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, well, if I was in Matt Fitzpatrick's, and I know it's not, well, I guess it is the rules official's fault because the thing is the rule, and this is where the USGA rule has a gray area that it puts it on the tournament committee to determine. It's like rules are supposed to be able to protect the field, so it shouldn't be wishy-washy.
Right.
Because I'm sure this year they allowed a player to replace a club for a smaller crack, right? I mean, because you got to think they probably don't have the same committee every week.
No.
So
I can tell you who won't be on that committee next year.
It's just a bad situation, and I get people are trying to say the rules are the rules. Well,
the rules say it's that he can replace the club.
Yeah,
I was gonna say to me, and obviously, I mean, I've got no really problem with how the rule is written. I mean, using the word significant is fine. Like you have to have a little bit of a gray area because there's no way without having to define. Okay, the crack must be at least X wide or X long and Y wide or whatever. Without getting into specifics, you have to have some ambiguous writing a little bit. So I'm okay with the rule. But in the terms of the rules official and then the other 3 rules officials who also decided that it wasn't significant enough, that's one of those situations where if I were officiating a golf tournament and I'm thinking about the look of how I would interpret this rule, what it means for the overall golf tournament, I'm looking
how does
at
it
that,
affect the ball?
And I realize that this golfer has played this driver, and their driver has now cracked. And the simplest thing to do would be to remove that golf club from play and replace it.
Yeah,
right. That's what affects the least amount of people.
Mm-hmm.
You're not benefiting anybody. You're not hurting anybody. Right.
Like and that's the thing. If you're looking at like a hairline fracture that you could barely see with the naked eye, like I get where that's where that gray area kind of is like, hey, I would continue to play it. But that was a inch-long crack in the dead center of the face.
That's another thing is where it was. It was dead. It was dead center.
Well, not only that is if you watch the full video, the rules official kept reiterating on the walkie-talkie, yeah, it catches my thumbnail. I can tell it's a crack.
Yeah.
It's catching. I'm doing the thumbnail test, and it is catching.
Then he's like, but I don't think it's significant.
And
he goes, I don't think it's substantial. Like, it's not. I'm like,
and like, since I'm kind of like the tech nerd as far as like measurements go, like what I would deem not significant is something that is immeasurable, like to feel or by visual.
Yeah,
so there's there's a gauge
that
they can actually measure the face. It's a bulge and roll gauge. So like when long drivers or high swing speed guys slowly start to wear in these faces, it actually will create a curvature within the face.
Mm-hmm.
It does affect ball speed, and it can affect direction, but it's very minimal. And then eventually it cracks as it gets too thin.
Right.
If he's just said, I think my face is warped, like you have to have a special tool to measure that. That would be not significant.
Right.
Having a crack completely across the face that Helen Keller could see, that is significant, you know? It was horrible.
Well, you're exactly right. But what you just explained is a measurement way to back up the word significant.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
I mean, but all in all, I think Matt Fitzpatrick handled it better than most probably would. Now, hearing him in his British accent
was awesome. Getting mad,
dude. It was just peak,
comedy.
Yes, I mean 1,000%. And even Scotty Scheffler was saying it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which I think this week led before we get into Keegan, but this week was just a weird week. It was a really cool venue. I don't think the players liked playing at the altitude and the wind.
Yeah.
They're used to playing their pitch and putts where, Memphis where it's just hot. I mean, nothing really going on.
It's different. That was good.
Yeah, and I think for the viewer, Castle Pines was amazing. It was great to see these guys miss greens from 120 yards because the conditions were that tough. But what I think it also exposed is how, and I don't want to say burnt out because these guys are playing nowhere near amount of golf tournaments that they used to have to play 4 or 5 years ago. But how many guys probably would not have played this week?
A lot of them.
I mean,
the
and I
elevation
wouldn't be
walk-
surprised if something doesn't change in the playoffs and you have Scotty Scheffler's situation, you have Rory McIlroy's situation. Like those two did not want to be on the golf course this week. And did they technically have to be? No.
Not really, but pretty
No.
much needed to be.
Once the leaderboard finished and a guy like Xander didn't win, Scotty Scheffler technically didn't have to play this week.
Right. But you don't know that at the start of the week.
You don't know that, yeah. But, I mean, Scotty Scheffler had a full-blown meltdown on Friday.
It's a couple weeks in a row he's been kind of melting down.
And I think he's not going to come out and fully say, he said it's a little bit that he doesn't agree with the format. But I think during the rounds, I think he realizes that another 72-hole stroke play isn't representative of a playoff.
Right.
And then you had Rory throw a driver in the water, or 3-wood, or whatever. Like, and then at least Rory was honest. Rory was like, "I'm mentally done. My year's over. Like, I could care less." So, is this really the playoffs? If you have players that are in the top 10 of your FedEx Cup saying,
I don't care.
"I don't care."
Not a chance, because you think about it as like March Madness. You get into the playoffs and like,
That's all that
You
matters.
ha- you
That's
ha-
all that matters.
dude, literally-
Everything you did was just to get there.
yeah, absolutely. And then you have all these low-ranked teams beating these higher-ranked teams. It's like,
Which
that's fun.
Which we have the story. And like what
That's
makes
fun.
March Madness great is the 16 seed could beat the 1
yeah,
seed.
that's fun.
And the
Virginia.
16 seed this week beat the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Keegan Bradley was the last player in the field, and here he is. And great interview after, he was like, I have to wrap my head around the fact that I have a chance to win the FedEx Cup next week because he's starting 5th.
But we were talking about the USAM last week and like how cool the match plays were and whatnot. Like, why not throw a format like that in where
Yeah.
you start ranking players and then you have them play?
Or maybe if it's going to be 72-hole stroke play 3 weeks in a row, making an aggregate score.
I think
And then you can still do cuts
I think pairing people
do
up for the
cuts
3
after
weeks.
after each
72
tournament.
holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you still do an aggregate score.
I think you rank them out of 64. And
Players
then
would
just play
probably
it like
care
March
over every
Madness.
shot, wouldn't they?
I mean, you'd have to.
Yeah. But, I mean, all in all, I know it's easy to think the top guys weren't nowhere near, like, none of them were technically in contention. Xander lurked, but he didn't really play well on Sunday.
Yeah.
Then you have Keegan Bradley hit.
Go on a tear.
I mean, him and Adam Scott, and I get Adam Scott's back nine didn't look pretty, but Adam Scott's proximity to the hole on the greens that he hit, though, was still like inside 10 feet. It was unbelievable. They were hitting some shots that were just stupid.
Believe it or not, he led the field in putting and total distance made putting.
Yeah, he made the most putts outside, which, again, for our listeners, our average golfers, right? How many people think they should make 15-footers? Adam Scott led this week in putts made outside 8 feet with over 72 holes. Best players in the world. He only made 13 putts, and he led the field
Yeah.
outside 8 feet.
And come in and get you a little lab broomstick for you.
I'm out on lab broomstick for a little bit. Not against the putter. Just
Okay.
not against the putter. But I mean, it was cool to see the USA chance. I mean,
Yeah, because now he's got a realistic chance of playing in the President's Cup.
Oh,
too.
He's got a realistic chance of playing in the Ryder Cup as well.
he has to. He doesn't get any points for the Ryder Cup for that win.
Does he not?
No, it's only majors, and then all the events next year get points.
Oh.
It was only majors this year.
Wow.
He has to be on the President's Cup team.
Yeah, because yet again,
The
they
U-
put
the-
Wyndham Clark somehow automatic qualifier.
Well,
He's like number 2 or 3 on
yeah,
on the
Colin
automatic
Moore
qualifiers.
automatically qualified. Patrick Cantlay automatically qualified. I don't know how. He hasn't been on a leaderboard in how long? Since the U.S. Open. So, and I get that. Like, I'm hard on Patrick Cantlay, but Keegan Bradley has more wins in the last 16 months than
so
Justin
he's got-
Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay, like 6 guys combined.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got,
He
it's in the last
ha-
2 PGA Tour seasons, he's got more wins. And
Like-
Ricky Fowler was in that group as well.
Well,
too.
Ricky, they're just throwing his name because people know it, but,
But
we
still,
all know
he's
Ricky
one of the
Fowler.
chosen ones. I mean,
I
let's
know.
be honest.
He's the boys' club,
Yeah.
but he has to be on the President's Cup team. Now, international team looking pretty good right now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a President's Cup. Who
National team
cares?
has no
And
chance.
also, you want to know how no one cares about the President's Cup? I tried looking up the overall record, and it just went off points and stuff like that. And I'm sitting here. I mean, that's a great visual. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Colin looks toasted in that photo. Oh.
He is. He just seems unsatisfied.
I say. He hit a golf shot he didn't like.
Yeah. He's like, look at these people. Actually, why are all like, damn. It's good. That's good marketing right there. They're like, let me find a bad picture, like where everyone just has that look on their face. But what was I saying?
I don't know.
International team. You couldn't find a record.
Oh yeah, that's how you know no one cares about the President's Cup. No one can find, like, you can't find the overall record, so I had to go through and finally.
International team has never won.
They have won one.
There was
And they have tied.
Okay, maybe that's
And
one
then
thing.
USA has won all the other 12.
I know. I was thinking
The
of
record is 12-1
tied
and 1.
one.
12-1 and 1.
Yeah, that's why you can't find the record anywhere. They don't want to share it. They
U.S.
don't know about
bias,
it.
man. Unbelievable. No, I don't know. I mean, it's a conversation. It's cool that the Ryder Cup captain is going to play on the President's Cup team.
Yeah.
Now, is Keegan playing well going to kind of light a fire under the rest of the team's butt?
Hopefully it better.
I mean, because Keegan says if he qualifies in points, he's playing in the Ryder Cup. He's not going to pick himself. He's already come out and say that. So if he's in there and, like, let's just say he's in the top 6 come middle of next year, who do you think is going to, like, step up? I mean, because you have players right now begging to get on the President's Cup team, i.e. Max Homa. He finished DFL again, and he's like, it was a tough year. I just hope that I make the President's Cup team. What form have you showed that, like, I would go with a guy like Nick Dunlap or Akshay Bhatia.
I'd probably put Akshay.
I'd put Akshay or Nick Dunlap on the field. And I get Nick Dunlap doesn't have out.
I would take Luke Clanton over
He's
Max Homa.
Yeah, he's an amateur.
I know, but still.
I know. Oh, true. I mean, so.
Or Shipley's made every cut on the PGA Tour so far that he's been given.
Side eye.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's a weird spot. Like, I know a lot of people say it's President's Cup. Who cares? But, like, they love to use in the conversations of Ryder Cup how well someone played at the President's Cup and the team camaraderie and stuff like that. So Keegan Bradley should probably be telling Jim Furyk, hey, I want to see these guys at the President's Cup.
Honestly, yeah, they need to go ahead and get who you think is going to be on your team for the Ryder Cup.
Because I think Sam Burns is going to sneak on the team again. He's played well the last few weeks.
Yeah. I mean, why not? He's Scotty's friend.
Yeah.
So they're going to be a natural pairing. So go ahead and put them together.
They got boat steam, like just absolutely boat raced at Rome.
Well, maybe they can get a win at the President's Cup.
I mean, Justin Thomas will probably get a pick. I mean, even though Justin Thomas finished 30th, I think his average finish this year was like 19th. So, like, his play was consistent over the year.
It was way better than last season.
It was way better than last season. It's just he had wind that was holding him up. But so, like, it's not like Justin Thomas had a bad year. So,
Lydia Ko. What do you think about what she's doing right now?
Playing special golf.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of interesting watching the last 4 holes of that event because
unbelievable golf.
You had 7 people with a chance to win, and they all get to 17 or 18 and just hit the worst tee shot of the tournament into the rough. And just,
I mean, to their defense, 17 is a hard tee shot.
It's the hardest golf hole.
But it was a lot of fun. I think what's cool with Ko is she's still uncontracted from an equipment standpoint.
How many brands do you have in her bag? Like,
so she has 3 right now, but earlier this season she had 6, and she kind of tapered it down. And one of our friends here, Jack, who actually runs the LPGA Tour for Ping now, was got most of her bag changed out, and ever since that happened, she's won an Olympic gold medal, 2 titles, and now a major. It's her first major in over 11 years, 10 years.
I don't know how long it's been since she's won, but
so, I mean she won her first one at 15.
So,
and then of course with the Olympic win, that was her final point to get into the Hall of Fame. And like she said, she's not going to retire. She wants to keep playing so she can win more majors. So I mean, she's just playing out of mind golf, kind of like that tear she went on earlier in her career. She's kind of found that form again.
How good was that leaderboard though? Because you had Lydia Vu, you had Nelly Corda, Charlie Hull. I mean,
It was solid.
I mean, that's in. We talk about this all the time. Like that's the golf course though. Like that's just what a great golf course setup makes the cream rise to the top, right? You're like, yeah, we all know that St. Andrews on the men's side has produced a couple interesting winners. Zach Johnson,
Louis Oosthuizen.
So, but it
Because
also
when he won that event, nobody knew who he was.
yeah, true. And then, but I do like when you think about that leaderboard and how essentially like the first 2 days, pretty much all of them were paired together. I mean, first 3 days, I should say. I mean, it was awesome. It was cool to see. They played in brutal conditions.
Yeah.
But I mean, Lydia Ko, I mean, she's back to being dominant. I mean,
Yeah, Nelly, it was kind of interesting. On 17, she had a 4-foot par putt, and I still don't think that her or Caddy knew what had happened on 17 with Lydia making that birdie, because instead of trying to get the putt to the hole, she left it like a good 7.5, 8 inches short for par. So she would have had to hole out on her second shot on 18 to have a chance for a playoff. Or if she would have just got it there, she could have went on 18, stayed aggressive, and possibly made birdie, went to a playoff.
yeah.
And
Golf's hard, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could tell when she walked off the green on 18 and looked at the leaderboard, her face just went white.
Yeah.
Because she knew how
knew.
important that 6 inches or 7 inches of roll mattered on 17 that she didn't make.
Yeah. I say start of the year was Nelly's year, and the second half of the year has
Lil-
been Lydia's.
Well, it
year.
went Nelly, Lilia Vu,
Yeah.
and then
Lydia.
Lydia, which Lilia Vu, she got hurt, I think, so she missed a few events. But I mean, the women's game is in a good spot.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch, to be
It's
honest.
in a good spot, I
A
think.
lot of good swings.
So it was Lexi Thompson's last major,
Yep.
Kyle's girl.
Yeah.
and
Wow.
so it's pretty cool. She got the send off on
I've moved
Smoking
on to
Bread,
Charlie
yeah.
Hall. Everybody knows that.
yeah. So it's it was a cool event.
It was. All right, we want to talk about a little bit about our experience this weekend.
Your voyage.
Yeah, I would call it a voyage.
Adventures in golf.
Adventure. You can't. I think that's already been trademarked or something.
Probably so. It was such an easy name. But so we played down a little river. Got Eagle Nest.
Beautiful
They have
area.
a set of
Beautiful area.
tees called the Perch Tees.
The
We played
Jersey of
from
the South.
8,100 yards. The third longest golf course
80
in America.
The first of its name, of its kind.
South Carolina. South Carolina.
Game of Thrones over here. Robert Baratheon, first of his name.
I did that on the golf course and Caleb started dying because he was like, "This is a third in America," and I said, "First of its name, first of its kind."
But the Perch Tees. The Perch Tees.
which they were perched.
They were perched up there. I mean,
I didn't see no fish though.
to be honest,
I'm
they
kidding.
had to be perched up there because if they hadn't have been, teeing off from the other side of the parking lot on some of these holes, you wouldn't have been able to see the golf course. I mean,
it was
you're-
8,167 yards.
well, and think about too is my first takeaway because our question we had was, does course yardage matter? And I mean, obviously that's a stupid question. Yes, it does. But playing the 8,100 yard, almost 8,200 yard golf course, what did you feel like was more important, distance or accuracy?
Oh, accuracy.
1,000%.
By far.
Because
we
how
have
many
10
holes you
yard
got
wide-
a 5 to 10 yard window to hit it out of. It don't matter if you hit it a 260 yard drive or a 330 yard
and
drive.
We both hit the ball pretty dang well off the tee.
You gotta get it out there.
I said, next time I go out and play an open golf course like Muni, I'm not going to know what to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel like I got anywhere to hit it.
I'm going to probably hit my driver terrible.
But I just kind of, to me, I found that to be interesting. Like, yeah, as long as the golf
So-
course was.
So we roll
felt
up to the
like-
starter and we're like, we're going to play the perch. He's like, you have to go get permission. So we had to go back to the golf shop, get permission, prove our handicaps. I guess you had to be like a scratch or better
Who
to
knows?
play it, whatever. So he approved us to play. And he goes, as we're walking out, he goes, course record's 73. And then the backdrop guy was like, the course is really designed for 6,700 yards, not 8,100.
It's like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah,
we know you just threw tees out wherever you could.
Yes, we know. But and we roll back to the first tee box, and the grass is about foot high.
It's like they haven't mowed them in a while.
We had the hand mowers out on Sunday. So, but it was a cool experience.
Yeah. Honestly, like it was a lot of fun to play.
You know, again,
yardage.
if the par threes weren't ridiculous, it would have felt like a normal round.
I was going to say or ask you, did you feel like you're playing a golf course that's over 1,000 yards longer than the usual golf course you play?
On par 4s and par 5s. On 2 of the par 5s and 2 of the par 4s, yes.
Yeah.
The other par 4s and par 5s, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many 470-yard, 500-yard par 4s that we still had mid-irons and short irons.
Yeah.
I do think that it's just the par 3s made it outrageous.
The par 3s, so like the par 3s we hit.
There was one short one that was a 7-iron.
Yeah, I hit 6.
Then there was a par 3 that was 290.
And so we hit 3 wood on 2 of the par 3s.
And then 18 was 255 into a 20-mile-per-hour wind.
Yeah.
We barely got 3 wood there.
Yeah. And we hit hybrid on the other. So like we went hybrid. We went 3 wood, 6 iron, hybrid.
Yeah, because the hybrid was
3 wood.
245 downwind.
Yeah.
So.
And I say the par 5s, I was going to say the biggest difference there probably was that the fact that you couldn't reach the par 5s and 2.
And that's probably a testament because the par 5s we're saying weren't bad because we hit good drives and we had to hit either hybrid or 3 wood.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't hit your longer clubs well,
yeah,
the par 5s you would have said are brutally long.
Correct.
Like, I mean, there was a couple par 5s where I went driver, hybrid, 6-iron.
Well, I was going to say,
But I birdied 3 out of the 4 par 5s.
That's what number 1 played in the wind. I mean, number 1 was 650-ish or so yards.
Yeah.
And we hit driver. Or
didn't get anywhere near the fairway.
No, I hit driver, 3 wood, 9-iron. And then the other long par 5 was 13, was like 680. And I hit driver, 3 wood, pitching wedge.
Well, my running joke, obviously, I was telling everyone, it's like, Caleb better not complain about this golf course being too short. That's why we're going here.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think, too, something to note, especially with BMW being at such a high elevation, is
they played the same yardage.
We're
Yeah.
at sea level,
Yeah.
too. So, I mean, not only is it 8,000 yards, but that's at sea level.
It was brutal.
I'll actually say, I mean,
the course record was 73. Caleb shot 74. I shot 75. And we had a few holes that we slapped it around on.
I wasted shots.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, I've played a lot of golf in the last week. In Hilton Head on last Sunday, I played the Cotton River Die course, and I tipped it out and played it at 7,400 yards. And quite honestly, that golf course from 7,400 yards, Felton to me played longer than
and
Eagle
that's
Nest
where,
at 8,100
but also
yards.
like that's why the guys said that Eagle's Nest. I think if we went out and played it from the regular tees, the
it'd be a
regular
pitch and putt.
tips, it'd be a chip and putt, but it'd be fun.
Yeah, oh yeah,
It'd be fun.
I say the golf course layout wise, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
The greens were awesome,
yeah.
like the slopes and undulations.
I haven't seen that kind of undulation in that Myrtle Beach area.
And no, not really.
Because most Myrtle Beach golf courses, the greens are very large. These are really small.
Yeah, these were small and had a lot of movement to them. They were fun.
Yeah, but we get to say we did it.
Conquered the third longest golf course in America.
Yeah, they self-proclaimed that
First of its kind.
First of its kind in South Carolina.
First of its kind, first of its name. They self-proclaimed that 16, 17, 18 were the hardest 3 holes in the Grand Strand, finishing
the hardest closing stretch.
They even had T-shirts in there.
Yeah. Self-proclaimed. That's what the starter says. Self-proclaimed.
So this is why I'm at in
hardest
Game
closing
of Thrones because technically, self-proclaimed.
Yeah.
Queen of
Yeah. Mother of Dragons here.
Hey, I mean, I'm Team Targaryen.
Which I will say, they were tough golf holes. I mean,
they weren't the toughest in the Grand Strand.
not by any means, but they were hard golf holes.
Yeah.
Do you know what the first and second longest courses are?
No.
In the U.S.?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Castle Pines has got to be on that.
No, there's a lot of
Because, it was of the same yardage.
8,100 yards.
Because I bet you that the top 1 and 2 are at elevation.
One of them is probably going to be, all right, side note, I'm going to say Ross Bridge in Alabama is probably one of them as well, too. Let me find.
Can we lead this into show and tell?
Go for it. All right, so there's going to be some dispute or controversy here. Because I just looked up, this is Links Magazine. Now they have...
Oh, they have to,
They have
it's a
longest...
respected source.
Yeah, longest golf courses.
Just spit it out.
And they've got number 1 is Pete Dye course at French Lick Resort at 8,102.
Yeah, we played longer.
Yeah.
Fake news.
So that's what I say. I don't know.
Links Magazine, fake news.
Oh, this is going in reverse order.
We'll let the people decide.
So this has French Lick is 8,102 is 5th. Castle Pines 8,130 is 4th. Eagle Nest 8,168 3rd. Ross Bridge, 81.91, second, and then Rain Dance National in Colorado at 84.63.
At Colorado.
That's where
That's at
that Barstool did the video where like Trent broke 90 for the first time. They put
Ross
they put a
Bridge
plaque out there. Ross Bridge, I played. That's in Alabama. That's a Robert Trent Jones golf trail.
That's not an elevation.
No, wait,
Is it?
tell me you haven't been to Alabama without telling me you haven't. Alabama is pretty much an entire like it's not mountains as in like
So it is
Rocky
elevation.
Mountains,
Okay,
but
so-
it's
It's an elevation, but
there's-
I mean,
they're technically mountains, but if you're from Alabama, we call them hills.
I mean,
I say-
technically, Charlotte's at elevation compared to us.
correct.
At
Yeah,
sea
I mean,
level.
anything is at elevation compared to the
So you guys
seafloor,
played
you
the
know.
longest course at sea level.
Well
done.
First of its name.
Oh,
Takes
put on a
8,000
t-shirt.
yards exactly to
Put on a
crack into the
t-shirt.
top 10, if anybody was curious.
Yeah.
Birdie.
Oh my gosh!
sent
Why are
this
so
to-
many people send this? Cartners.
Well, we'll keep this one appropriate for YouTube.
No,
Takes a special person to buy that.
no, that's just a joke.
Yeah,
I
I
think
was
this
gonna
was a
say.
fantasy football thing or whatever.
I mean, it's funny,
And
but it's a shame.
All I know is hopefully they're on the tee box, but my man's struggling with driver on the left because he doesn't have one in the bag. Looks like he has 2 fairway woods, but
What do you mean? I mean, his driver's in the head cover there.
oh, is that a head cover?
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
I said the guy on the right struggling driver because he's got 2 of them in his bag.
yeah. Shank. Next.
I say it's a funny
It's
joke.
funny, but no.
No,
I don't really get the joke though.
I don't really either.
Instead of partners, you're Cartners.
Yeah.
We could tie this into maybe they split the cart fee.
Oh,
Damn, Kyle.
I love how many people comment on it and they're like, it's just so simple. There should just be one fee and then me and my buddy could split it. You're like, you know what? That's a good idea. You know, courses, instead of charging 20 per cart, they'll just start charging 40.
I say the guys
And you still pay
that
the
would
same
use
amount.
this would share a cart fee.
Yeah.
You know? All right, next. We pick more people back.
You can only play one course for the rest of your life. Pebble Beach, Pinehurst number 2, Wingfoot, Royal Troon. Damn.
Winged foot.
This is a hard question.
It's going to be either number 2 or Wingfoot. Yeah.
You can only play one for the rest of your life.
I know, but I don't know which one I'd play between the 2. I mean, Pinehurst is 2 hours away, so that'd be easier.
I'll say
I think we're assuming we literally live at this course.
Well,
it's the only golf course you can play for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I would say I'm going to eliminate number 2 for me, even though I think it's an awesome golf course. I'd love to play it. It's just too close to home. You know, I'd want to pick one of these other ones.
I don't want to sound rude, but I want to say Wingfoot, but I would get bored with the bent
I would
because
say
it plays the same.
my thing is
Like-
of the 3 golf of these. Eliminating number 2 of the other 3. This is the best golf course.
It's the best golf course.
as far as just a layout.
But again, I would get bored because it only plays one way, one
'Cause
style.
These 2 are the best golf courses.
Yeah,
of these
Pinehurst
4.
and I'm choosing Pinehurst. It's my favorite kind of golf.
See,
That's my favorite kind of golf. I've played it a ton. I like playing the ball on the ground.
I would choose it if
If
it
it
plays.
was any other links course other than Troon, I probably would have chose that.
If number 2 plays firm and fast like the way it did in U.S. Open, that would be the pick.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm gonna think that's what they're asking. So
I mean,
I'm choosing
most of the
them.
year it's not going to play that. way.
I've played it in every condition.
Yeah.
I've played it in U.S. Open condition. I played it and I still enjoy it. That's just mine. I'm because again, if it was like I can name 5 other links courses other than Royal Troon that I would have chose. As my course.
and I might get hate for it, but I really don't
say
care. I
Alsa
think
course at
You guys know my takes on Pebble.
Turnberry, probably the one I'd pick. But I would say
yeah, because
I'd take Wingfoot.
to me, Pebble Beach is so overplayed. Now, obviously, it's a great facility. I haven't played there, but
It's life changing.
I mean,
Kyle.
every video game that a golfer's ever played, you have Pebble. Every reference is always Pebble. Every tournament every year that's celebrity, LPGA men's is Pebble. I mean, it's
the destination course that everything else gets compared against.
correct.
To be honest.
So we see it all the time to where it almost feels like we're already there, even if we're not.
If it didn't have those 5 or 6 holes on the water, it would not be a good golf course. That's just what it.
Hot take. Boom, 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 boom.
No,
boom.
no.
I mean, honestly, it's
that's
not that
true.
hot of a take. Yeah.
It's not that hot of a take because you have other courses around it that people say are better overall golf course.
Yeah.
I mean Cypress Point,
Spyglass Hill.
Spyglass Hill. Yeah,
Um,
it's just the history behind the holes on the water. Like
Right.
you can't take away the history of Pebble Beach. It's
Right.
unbelievable. I mean, Jack Nicklaus's 2-iron that he hit on 17 that hit the flag that led to his win in the U.S. Open. I mean,
Tom Watson's chip
Tom
in.
Watson's chip in.
on
I mean,
17.
Tiger having one ball in his bag, teeing off with a 1-stroke lead on 8, or sorry, like a 6-stroke lead on 18. But if he lost that ball, he's DQ'd.
Hits driver.
Well, that was that was on the first round.
No, that was the final round.
No.
Last hole, I
He-
thought.
Mm-mm. It was not on the 72nd hole.
Oh,
It was in the first
either
round.
Either way,
But
I mean,
still.
he dominated the
Yeah.
Open. But I mean, don't come after me, YouTube, that and people that I think Pebble Beach is terrible. I just
Next.
I'd rather play somewhere else.
yeah.
Like Wingfoot.
Give me St. Andrews. If St. Andrews was on that list, it would have been automatic.
So I'd rather play the Elsa course at Turnberry.
Trump Turnberry. Yep, exactly. Oh, I played around with these at Mid Pines. What is that noise?
Him with the
Is it?
I thought
Yeah.
someone was breathing, and I was like, "What is going on? We have Bane in here." I played a round of golf of these at Mid Pines, and let's just say that it was convenient. It was fast. I didn't wreck.
That's good for you.
I didn't wreck.
Was it fun?
Oh yeah, awesome.
I say it looks like it'd be a ton of fun to ride, but
We had a kind at Bald Head. There wasn't a golf board. It was, like you stand up.
like a hoverboard.
like a golf
Yeah.
scooter.
And then Magnolia Greens had the golf boards for a while. But I think these motorcycle things are super cool. What's cool is like you watch John Rahm's videos at Whisper Rock. Is that where he's at?
Yeah.
Their caddies drive these around.
Yeah.
So like when they're caddying, they just whip them bad boys around. I was like, heck yeah, that's sick.
It's probably in 6 or 7 years, but Sun Mountain was actually one of the first companies to do this. They had brought the prototype to a TaylorMade demo day. I was working at St. James, and the first thing I get on it, he goes, "Whatever you do, just don't try to jump it," because at Reserve Club, their range has that 2-tier to go up. So I was like, "Well, can I take it up and down?" I mean, they're a ton of fun. Do not drive while intoxicated, though.
That's wild.
I was like, it looks like it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah.
What about if we put
It's not
two
that bad.
strokes on these things?
It's not that bad.
Are they electric?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's electric.
Whoa,
That's
Miles,
what-
come on. Sustainability here.
That's why I say let's put some two strokes on these things.
Every superintendent would
Imagine-
immediately ban them.
Not only that, no, you could still leave the turf tire on. Yeah, you'd just be doing a burnout the entire time with the 2-stroke. Imagine you're sitting there, you're just over a putt, and you're seeing, you see the sound of a 2-stroke, and you're just like,
Somebody just cuts the muffler off.
Well, I mean, you don't even have to worry about that with a two-stroke. It's gonna be loud regardless.
I wonder if would you think in the golf cart situation, if I purchased my own, would I be allowed to take it to the golf course?
Would you have to pay
trail
coffee?
fee.
Actually, yes. Magnolia, or a course in most cases would still charge you a cart fee or trail fee or cart fee.
Yeah.
It's only your benefit to get the trail
But
fee.
since it's
'cause-
only one seat, is it half the fee?
All right.
Yeah.
and we'll close it out on that.
Is that the last one we have? All right, good.
Yeah.
No, this flush, this is cool as hell.
Yeah.
More of it. They're expensive though.
Yeah, it's way too much.
Worth it.
Get like a boosted board, the
Spend
electronic
dumber.
skateboard that's like 35 miles an hour. Put some off-road tires on it.
Yep. Close this out. We got to work.
Yep, we got to go to work. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe, turn on the push bell notifications, and we'll catch you next time on episode 67.
Robert Baratheon, first of his name.